They say even a masquerade dancing in the dark is watched by unseen eyes. Yes, so a lot of people don't believe this, but even masquerade that are dancing in the dark are usually watched by unseen eyes. But what happens when a renowned pastor gets caught in the daylight on camera wielding what looks like a weapon in an unregistered car and the internet refuses to let it go? Yes, that is what the internet has done these few days. Today's story is not fresh, of course, not fresh, but it's far from over. The gbos has not stopped. The outrage is building and will continue to build. And after over 10 days plus of silence, the man at the center of it all, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, has just turned himself in. I'm talking about doing that yesterday being Tuesday. Okay, so buckle up and hear the rest of the story, my people. So, over more than 10 days ago, a video hit the internet like wildfire. A man of God, no other than Pastor Adefarasin of the House of on the Rock, was seen in what appeared to be a heated encounter on the road. The footage showed him holding an object that looked suspiciously like a firearm while behind the wheels of a car with no license plates. That is exactly what we saw. At first, many thought it was fake news, deep fake, or an old video. But no, it was real, completely real. It was recent and it sparked nationwide uproar. Okay? And yours sincerely also I had my doubts at the beginning when I saw that video until I had to corroborate it from mainstream media. So it was real after all. From X, formerly Twitter, to blogs, WhatsApp groups, to Facebook comment sections, everyone had something to say about that thing because it was a big outrage that happened. Okay? The question was simple. What was the man of God doing? Brandishing a gun-like object in traffic. And more importantly, why was he driving an unregistered vehicle? Because we all saw that vehicle completely unregistered, no number plate on it. Okay? Pastor Adefarasin responded a few days later. Yes, I also watched that video. I think it was on a Sunday. He was speaking with his members, and he had something to say about that incident. Okay, so he responded a few days later in church, like I said, not through the police, but from his pupils. He told his congregation that he did not point anything at anyone and that the video circulating was taken out of context. Yes, so according to him, he was simply protecting himself and meant no harm. And when he finished, the congregants, started clapping for him. And I watched that video and I felt it was not funny, because I was asking myself, what are they clapping for? But Nigerians were not buying that. Even after that his video surfaced, Nigerians didn't buy that. They called for the police intervention, and that call grew louder. Legal experts even weighed in. Public outrage did not simmer down. It boiled and continued to boil. In a country where young men are arrested and sometimes brutalized for simply holding a laptop or walking with dreadlocks, how can someone drive a numberless car and wave a gun-like object with zero consequence? A lot of people had asked and they continue to ask. It wasn't until yesterday, Tuesday, that Pastor Adefarasin, was said to have walked into the Lagos State Police Command to face questions. Over 10 days ago, had passed, since the video surfaced. And finally, the police had their moment. Yes, you heard me well. They had their moment with him. Yes, they did. Okay? He was interrogated. He gave a statement. And the object, yes, that mysterious item in the video was handed over and examined by the police, according to the reports. The police released a statement thereafter. The object is not a firearm. It is a stun gun. They said a prohibited anti-riot devices, not fatal but still restricted. These were their words. Now here is the twist, my people. Here is the big, big twist. The police confirmed the stun gun, right? They confirmed his presence. They confirmed that he was granted administrative bail. Okay? But what they did not confirm or even mention is the unregistered vehicle. And even as I do this video, there's still no talk about that unregistered vehicle. Honestly. No, not even a mention. The same vehicle with no number plate that featured in all the viral clips. It featured in fact, he was in that very unregistered vehicle. So it's not like the vehicle wasn't seen or it was hiding. Why the silence? Has the law changed? Can anyone now drive around Lagos in a numberless car? Or is there a special rule book for the elites? Because this is what a lot of people are asking. This is where things get uncomfortable, my people. One Lagos based lawyer made it very clear: intention is everything. If you point something that looks like a gun, even if it's a toy, and the victim believes it's a real weapon, it constitutes assault. Yes, I think my layman understanding of law, agrees with this reasoning, and potentially a felony. Exactly. What if the young man in the video had walked into a police station and filed a report of assault or intimidation? What would have been the outcome? Would the narrative have changed? These are the questions I'm asking, very pertinent questions I'm asking at this moment. We have seen cases where people use toy guns to rob banks. Nobody waits to test whether it will shoot or not. The law focuses on how it made the victim feel and what the suspect intended. That is what I think is important here. So I'm talking about the intention right now. If this was not Pastor Adefarasin, would things have gone this smoothly? Because that's another question that we need to ponder about. If it was just a random person, will this whole thing have gone this smoothly? I don't think so. There's also a deep spiritual irony here. A preacher of peace carrying a prohibited self-defense device and explaining it away under the banner of personal protection. Nigerians have begun to wonder: was this a lapse in judgment, a product of paranoia, or a glimpse into a private side we really see? Now, the thing is, most of our so-called men of God, they sell stickers everywhere. Yeah, they say you are covered with the blood of this, you are covered with this, you are protected by this. They sell the stickers to vulnerable members, and they tell them these stickers, put them in your car, put them in your doorpost at home. This will serve as a protective shield, and they will tell them to rely and pray on God to protect them. But while canvassing for this to their members, they in turn, go about, carrying protective gadgets, sometimes going about with huge bodyguards, and sometimes even a policeman and security personnel. So is this not a contradiction already? Okay, so more importantly, what precedent does this really set? I'm talking about this whole thing that has just happened. What is the precedent here? If the police can remain mute on the issue of a numberless car just because of who is involved, what does that tell the average Nigerian about fairness and justice? Because I keep saying this: if an ordinary person drives around Lagos without number plates, I tell you that car will be pounded already. So what messages are we sending out there to the rest of the people out there? What is the message that we are sending? What kind of precedent would this be? This incident brings a deeper lesson to light here. No one is above scrutiny. No name, no title, and no pupil should shield a person from the consequences of public actions. Because that is what this is all about. The same standard applied to regular citizens should be expected, of those who lead them. It's been over a week of drama, commentary, and unanswered questions. And despite the pastor turning himself in, many Nigerians feel justice has only partially been served. The police owe the public more, especially about the status of that vehicle. Because whether it is a stun gun or a pistol, whether it was assault or not, that car without a plate number is a problem we cannot ignore. Yes, you heard me well. As the Yorubas say, he who slays an elephant should remember that many eyes are watching the town. This is the more, this whole conundrum for me is just more than a viral moment. It is a test of Nigeria's commitment to equality before the law, because that's what they say. They say equality before the law. They said everyone is equal before the law. Will the system bend or will it stand? Because at the end of the day, Nigerians are watching and they just want to know if we are all equal before this law, as we have been told. So we will keep watching. Yes, Nigerians will keep watching. And so should you, listening to the sound of my voice, even at this time. Okay? So if this story has stirred something in you, don't just listen. I want you to drop a comment, share this story wide, and let's keep asking the right questions until we get answers to all our questions. Okay? So until next time, I want to say stay awake, stay bold, and stay awake, Africa. Okay? So I'm going to meet you at the comment section. Yeah, hopefully we'll take this conversation further. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye bye.